Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to find peace, let's connect and surrender to the divine together. How about we embrace the power of gratitude and make every moment feel like a blessing? Tonight, I invite you to step into the sanctuary of your own soul and discover a truth as eternal as the stars. Peace is not something we seek outside ourselves. It is a gift already given, waiting to be unwrapped in the embrace of God. When we speak of God, we are not talking of a distant deity seated on a faraway throne. No, God is nearer than your breath, closer than your heartbeat. God is your awareness, your imagination, your very life. And it is in this sacred awareness that true peace resides. Consider the power of imagination. Within you lies the ability to shape your reality, not as a fleeting dream, but as a divine co-creator. When you align your imagination with God's vision for you, a vision of love, abundance, and serenity, you find a peace that surpasses all understanding. The first key to finding peace in God's embrace is understanding that God resides within you as your awareness and consciousness. This truth shifts the way you perceive life, moving your focus from external circumstances to the infinite power and presence within. When you recognize that the divine is not an entity separate from you, but the essence of who you are, your relationship with yourself and the world transforms. This realization opens the door to a profound sense of peace that is unshaken by external events. To grasp this, consider the nature of awareness itself. The part of you that observes, dreams, and imagines is the very presence of God within you. This awareness is not bound by time or space, and it is through this awareness that you connect with the infinite. When you fully embrace this truth, you realize that you are never alone, nor are you subject to the whims of fate. Instead, you are an active participant in the creation of your reality, guided and empowered by the divine presence within. The peace that arises from this understanding is not fleeting or dependent on external factors. It is a steady, unchanging foundation because it is rooted in the eternal nature of God. You no longer seek validation or security outside yourself. Instead, you rest in the certainty that everything you need is already within you. This shift eliminates the anxiety and restlessness that often come from chasing external solutions to internal struggles. When challenges arise, turning inward to this divine awareness allows you to face them with calm and clarity. You begin to see that every situation, no matter how difficult, is an opportunity to deepen your connection with God. This perspective reframes problems as invitations to trust the divine presence within and to align more fully with its guidance and wisdom. This interconnection also transforms your relationships with others. When you see God in yourself, you naturally begin to see the divine in everyone around you. This perspective fosters compassion, patience, and understanding, creating harmony in your interactions. You are no longer reactive or defensive because your sense of peace and worth does not come from others' opinions or actions. It is anchored in your connection to the infinite within. Living from this awareness is not about denying the physical world, but about engaging with it from a place of inner stillness and certainty. You move through life with confidence, knowing that the same power that created the universe resides within you, guiding you and sustaining you. This realization is not an intellectual exercise, but a lived experience that grows stronger with practice and meditation. By turning inward and embracing your divine nature, you awaken to the peace that has always been there, waiting for you to recognize it. This is the essence of finding your peace in God's embrace, understanding that the divine is not apart from you, but is the very core of your being. Imagination is a divine gift, a powerful tool through which we align with God's presence and shape the reality of our lives. When you recognize the sacred nature of your imagination, you begin to understand that it is not merely a faculty for fantasy or idle thought, but a bridge to your inner divinity. Through imagination, you connect with the creative power of God, which resides within you. This connection opens the path to profound peace as you learn to co-create with the infinite intelligence that governs all things. Imagination allows you to see beyond the limitations of the physical world and step into the boundless possibilities of the spiritual realm. It is within your imagination that you conceive the life you wish to live, the relationships you wish to nurture, and the inner peace you long to feel. These images are not fleeting, they are seeds planted in the fertile soil of your consciousness. When nurtured with faith and conviction, these seeds grow into tangible realities, guided by the divine power working through you. To use imagination in alignment with God's will, you must focus on the outcomes that bring peace, joy, and harmony, not only to yourself, but to those around you. This practice is not about escapism, but about conscious creation. By visualizing the highest and best outcomes, you align with the divine purpose and invite God's guidance into your life. This alignment creates a sense of peace because you know that you are moving in harmony with the infinite wisdom that directs all creation. Your imagination also serves as a refuge during times of turmoil or uncertainty. When the external world feels chaotic, you can retreat into the sanctuary of your mind, where God's presence is always accessible. By visualizing yourself embraced by divine love, surrounded by light, or resting in a serene heavenly place, you can instantly reconnect with the peace that lies within. This inner visualization is not a mere mental exercise, it is a sacred communion with the divine. The power of imagination is magnified when paired with belief. When you imagine a desired outcome and fully believe that it is possible through God's power, you create a vibration that attracts that reality to you. This belief anchors you in peace even before your external circumstances change, because you trust that the manifestation is already unfolding in divine timing. Imagination allows you to rewrite the narratives of the past and reshape your perception of the present. If you've experienced pain or fear, you can use imagination to revisit those moments and replace them with images of healing and forgiveness. This act is not a denial of reality, but a recognition of your power to align every aspect of your being with God's love and peace. Through the sacred use of imagination, you step into your role as a co-creator with God. This practice deepens your connection to the divine, bringing not only peace, but also clarity, purpose, and joy. Faith in unseen realities is the cornerstone of finding peace in God's embrace. It requires you to trust in the presence and promises of God, even when they are not yet visible to your physical senses. This faith is not blind or passive. It is an active, intentional choice to believe in the unseen workings of divine love and guidance. When you cultivate this trust, you step into a realm of peace that is unwavering, for it is grounded in the eternal and unchanging nature of God. The physical world often tempts us to believe only in what we can see, touch, or measure. Yet the most profound aspects of life, love, hope, joy, and peace are intangible. Similarly, God's presence operates in ways that are often beyond our immediate perception, but no less real. Faith invites you to anchor your life in this unseen reality, to believe in the goodness of God's plans, even when circumstances appear uncertain or challenging. Faith is not about ignoring difficulties or pretending that problems do not exist. Instead, it is about seeing beyond them to the deeper truth of God's unwavering care and provision. When you trust that everything is unfolding for your highest good, you release the need to control or worry about outcomes. This surrender is not a weakness, it is a profound act of strength and alignment with divine wisdom. It is in this surrender that peace arises, a peace that transcends the noise of the world. Faith in unseen realities also empowers you to live as though your desires aligned with God's will are already fulfilled. When you hold a vision in your heart and trust that it will come to pass, you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with that reality. This alignment creates a sense of peace, for you are no longer striving or doubting, you are resting in the assurance that God's promises are true. This kind of faith transforms the way you navigate life's challenges. Instead of reacting with fear or frustration, you approach situations with calm confidence, knowing that God is working behind the scenes in ways you may not yet comprehend. Even when answers are delayed, faith assures you that divine timing is perfect and that every delay serves a purpose in the grand design of your life. Faith is also deeply personal and relational. It is not just belief in a concept, but trust in a loving God who is intimately involved in your life. This trust grows through experience and reflection. When you recall times when God's unseen hand guided you or provided for you, your faith is strengthened. These moments remind you that even when the path ahead is unclear, God's light is always present to lead you. In cultivating faith in unseen realities, you develop an inner foundation that is unshaken by external circumstances. You live in the assurance that God's presence is constant, His love is infinite, and His plans for you are good. This faith becomes a source of peace that sustains you through all of life's seasons. Silence and stillness are gateways to experiencing God's presence and embracing the peace that flows from this connection. In the modern world where noise and distractions abound, the practice of quieting the mind and turning inward is a profound act of spiritual alignment. It is in the stillness that you find God, not as an external force, but as the essence of your being, always present and waiting for your attention. This encounter brings a peace that surpasses understanding, a peace unshaken by external circumstances. When you silence the mental chatter and distractions, you create space for divine communion. The mind is often filled with worries, fears, and endless thoughts about the past and future. These mental patterns keep you disconnected from the present moment where God resides. By intentionally practicing stillness, you step out of the noise of the world and into the eternal now, the realm where God's presence is most vividly experienced. Stillness is not about doing nothing, it is an active state of receptivity. In this quiet space, you are not striving or seeking, but simply being. This beingness is the essence of your divine nature. It is in these moments of quietude that you become aware of God's embrace, a comforting presence that assures you of your inherent worth and oneness with the divine. This practice also cultivates clarity and inner harmony. When your mind is still, the distractions that cloud your vision fade away, allowing you to hear the still, small voice of God. This voice is not necessarily audible. It is often felt as an intuitive knowing or a deep sense of peace and direction. By tuning into this divine guidance, you align your thoughts and actions with God's will, creating a life that reflects His peace and purpose. Regularly entering into silence has a transformative effect on your overall state of being. Over time, you become less reactive to external events and more anchored in the calm assurance of God's presence. The noise of the world loses its power to disturb your peace because you have developed the habit of returning to the sanctuary within. This practice teaches you that true peace is not dependent on circumstances, but is an unshakable quality of your connection with God. Silence allows you to release burdens and surrender control. In stillness, you recognize that you are not alone in facing life's challenges. God is with you, carrying the weight of your worries. This surrender brings immense relief and a sense of freedom as you realize that you are supported by an infinite source of wisdom and love. The practice of silence and stillness deepens your awareness of your oneness with God. It reminds you that peace is not something you must earn or find outside yourself. It is already within you, waiting to be embraced. By cultivating moments of stillness, you create a sacred space where God's peace flows freely, renewing your spirit and guiding your journey. Living in the end is a transformative practice that aligns you with the peace of God by focusing on the fulfillment of your desires as though they are already realized. This is not merely a mental exercise, but a profound spiritual alignment with the truth that God's power is within you, working to bring about the highest good in your life. By living as if your prayers have already been answered, you step into a state of gratitude, trust, and inner peace, unshaken by current circumstances. This principle is rooted in the understanding that imagination, guided by faith, is a divine tool for creation. When you consistently envision the outcome you desire with conviction, you align your consciousness with that reality. In doing so, you shift from a mindset of lack and longing to one of abundance and fulfillment. This shift creates peace because you no longer feel the tension of striving or uncertainty. Instead, you rest in the assurance that what you seek is already yours in spirit and will manifest in the physical world in divine timing. Living in the end requires more than visualization. It calls for embodying the feelings and behaviors of someone who already has what they desire. For example, if you are seeking peace, act, think, and feel as though peace is already present within you. If you desire healing, carry the attitude of someone who is whole and vibrant. This practice aligns your emotions, thoughts, and actions with the divine flow, creating a powerful resonance that draws your desired reality into being. This way of living also reflects a deep trust in God's promises. When you live in the end, you affirm your faith in God's ability to bring about the best outcomes for your life. You no longer question whether things will work out or worry about how they will come to pass. Instead, you remain steadfast in your belief that all is unfolding perfectly according to divine wisdom. This trust fosters a profound sense of peace as you release the need to control or manipulate outcomes and rest in God's embrace. By living in the end, you also free yourself from the anxiety of external validation. Your sense of fulfillment is no longer dependent on what others think or how situations appear on the surface. Instead, you draw from the deep well of divine assurance within you, knowing that your reality is shaped by your inner conviction in God's unwavering presence. This practice transforms how you approach challenges. Instead of reacting with fear or doubt, you face difficulties with the mindset of someone who already knows the resolution is at hand. This perspective brings calm and clarity, allowing you to navigate life with grace and confidence. Living in the end is not about pretending or ignoring reality. It is about stepping into the truth of God's infinite possibilities. By embodying the fulfillment of your desires, you align with God's power and invite His peace to permeate every aspect of your life. Gratitude is a powerful gateway to experiencing God's peace and presence. It shifts your focus from what is lacking to the abundance that already exists in your life, creating a sense of connection with the divine. When you cultivate gratitude, you align your heart with God's goodness, opening yourself to receive even greater blessings and deeper peace. Gratitude is not just an emotional response, but a spiritual practice that transforms your perspective and fosters a profound sense of contentment. At its core, gratitude is a recognition of God's grace operating in your life. It acknowledges that every good thing, no matter how small, is a gift from the divine. This recognition moves you beyond a mindset of entitlement or scarcity and into a state of reverence and appreciation. In this state, you are reminded that you are always supported, loved, and cared for by an infinite source. This awareness dissolves fear and anxiety, replacing them with a calm assurance of God's constant provision. When you practice gratitude consistently, it shifts your inner dialogue. Instead of dwelling on what you lack or what is going wrong, you focus on the abundance and blessings around you. This shift is not merely positive thinking, it is an act of faith that declares God's goodness even in the midst of challenges. Gratitude becomes a lens through which you view your circumstances, allowing you to see opportunities for growth and grace where others might see obstacles. Gratitude also creates a ripple effect in your relationships. When you express appreciation for the people in your life, you strengthen your connections and foster a sense of harmony. This practice deepens your relationships as others feel valued and seen, and it reflects God's love through your actions. Similarly, when you extend gratitude for the lessons in difficult situations, you transcend resentment and embrace the peace that comes from understanding God's larger purpose. A powerful aspect of gratitude is its ability to anchor you in the present moment. Often, anxiety arises from dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Gratitude pulls you back to the now, where you can recognize the beauty and blessings already surrounding you. In this present awareness, you connect with God's peace, which is always accessible in the here and now. Gratitude also aligns you with the divine law of increase. What you focus on expands, and by giving thanks for what you have, you invite more of the same into your life. This is not about material accumulation, but about aligning your life with the flow of divine abundance. When you thank God for His gifts, you affirm your faith in His continued provision, which deepens your sense of peace and trust. Through gratitude, you cultivate a heart that is open and receptive to God's love. It reminds you that peace is not found in acquiring more, but in appreciating what already is. This practice grounds you in the certainty of God's care, allowing you to live with joy, contentment, and a deep sense of spiritual fulfillment. Forgiveness is a powerful act of liberation that aligns you with God's peace and presence. When you forgive, you release yourself from the burden of resentment and bitterness, creating space for divine love and healing to flow into your life. Forgiveness is not simply an emotional gesture, it is a spiritual practice that reflects God's boundless mercy and invites you to embody that same grace. By forgiving others and yourself, you step into a state of peace that transcends the pain of past experiences. Holding on to anger or grudges keeps you bound to the very source of your pain. It is as though you are carrying a heavy weight that drains your energy and clouds your perspective. Unforgiveness creates a barrier between you and the peace that God longs to give you. However, when you choose to forgive, you let go of this weight and open yourself to freedom and restoration. Forgiveness is not about condoning harmful actions or pretending that pain did not occur. It is about choosing to release the hold that pain has over you. This release is deeply spiritual. When you forgive, you align with the divine nature of God, who forgives without limit. The act of forgiveness mirrors God's infinite love and grace, reminding you of your connection to Him. In forgiving, you acknowledge that just as you are imperfect and in need of God's mercy, so too are others. This understanding fosters compassion, replacing judgment and anger with empathy and love. Forgiveness is also an act of faith. It requires you to trust that God will bring justice and healing in His perfect way and time. By forgiving, you surrender your need for retribution or control, placing the situation in God's hands. This surrender brings peace because it frees you from the exhausting task of carrying resentment or seeking resolution on your own. You come to understand that true justice and restoration come from God, not from human efforts. Self-forgiveness is equally vital. Many people carry guilt and shame that weigh heavily on their hearts, preventing them from fully experiencing God's peace. When you forgive yourself, you accept God's mercy and recognize that His love for you is unconditional. Self-forgiveness is not about ignoring mistakes, but about learning from them and moving forward with a renewed sense of purpose and grace. Forgiveness also transforms your relationships. When you let go of grievances, you create the possibility for reconciliation and deeper connection. Even when reconciliation is not possible, forgiveness frees you from the negative energy that disrupts your peace. It allows you to interact with others from a place of wholeness rather than from wounds. Forgiveness is a path to spiritual freedom. It breaks the chains of the past and opens your heart to the peace that comes from God's embrace. Through forgiveness, you embody the love and mercy of the divine, creating a life that reflects God's presence and peace in every aspect. Surrender to God's will is a profound act of trust and alignment that brings unparalleled peace. It involves releasing the need to control outcomes and placing your faith in the infinite wisdom of the divine. This surrender is not passive resignation, but an active choice to trust that God's plans are far greater than anything you could imagine for yourself. By yielding to His will, you open yourself to the flow of divine love, guidance, and grace, experiencing a peace that transcends all understanding. The need for control often stems from fear and a sense of separation from God. When you believe that everything depends on your efforts alone, anxiety and restlessness take hold. However, surrendering to God's will allows you to step out of the limited perspective of the ego and into the infinite perspective of the divine. It is an acknowledgement that God sees the bigger picture and is always working for your highest good, even when His plans are not immediately clear to you. Surrender does not mean giving up on your dreams or aspirations. Instead, it means aligning your desires with God's higher purpose. It is a recognition that true fulfillment comes not from chasing your own plans, but from living in harmony with God's intentions for your life. This alignment brings peace because it frees you from the constant struggle of trying to force things to happen. You begin to trust that what is meant for you will come in the perfect time and way, according to divine wisdom. This trust transforms how you respond to challenges and uncertainties. Instead of resisting or fearing the unknown, you embrace it as an opportunity for growth and deepening your connection with God. Surrender allows you to see obstacles not as setbacks, but as stepping stones on your spiritual journey. You release the need to understand everything in the moment, resting in the assurance that God is guiding you every step of the way. Surrendering to God's will also fosters a sense of humility. It is a reminder that you are not alone in navigating life's complexities. You are supported by an infinite power that loves you unconditionally. This humility does not diminish your worth, but enhances it as you recognize your oneness with the divine and your role as a co-creator in God's plan. The act of surrender often begins in prayer and reflection, where you consciously place your worries, desires, and uncertainties in God's hands. This practice shifts your focus from fear to faith, creating an inner stillness where God's peace can dwell. Over time, this surrender becomes a way of life, a constant reliance on God's presence and guidance in every decision and circumstance. Through surrender, you find freedom from the burden of striving and struggling. You come to experience life as a flow, guided by the loving hand of God. This state of trust and alignment brings deep peace as you rest in the knowledge that God's will is always for your highest good and His plans are perfect and unfailing. Finding your peace in God's embrace is not a destination but a journey, a sacred path that invites you to awaken to the divine presence within and around you. It is a journey of faith, imagination, surrender, and gratitude, where each step brings you closer to the truth that you are deeply loved, infinitely supported, and eternally connected to the source of all peace. As you trust in the unseen, quiet your soul in stillness, and align your life with God's will, you discover a peace that is unshaken by circumstances and beyond understanding. This peace is your birthright, a gift from the Creator who desires only your highest good. May you leave here today with renewed hope and a heart open to God's embrace. Live boldly in the assurance of His presence. Rest confidently in His guidance and let His peace flow through every thought, word, and action. In God's embrace, you are home. Thank you.